I'm Amber, and later in the video, you'll see my partner Josh. We're going to be talking about global etiquette today. So first, we're going to define etiquette, and then we're going to go in and compare some different countries and their etiquette rules. So etiquette is a way of behaving that's customary in certain situations. It's going to vary from country to country and culture to culture, and not following the rules of etiquette in each country could result in jail time, criminal charges, or it could make or break your business deal. In the United States, we have a very informal way of doing business. We always make and maintain eye contact during handshakes. Our handshakes are very firm, and power is usually determined by how firm a handshake is. We always stand when being introduced to someone, and we keep our distance from others. We really like our personal space. We usually conduct our business over meals, and the host always pays for everybody invited. There's often a toast in honor of the guest of honor, and gifts from visiting countries are always appreciated. We try to avoid silence at all costs, and we try not to interrupt people when they're talking. And in business, contracts are very important, and we always involve lawyers before we sign them. Now we're going to go over some handshakes and then go through each of these countries. So in the UK, handshakes are very important, but they're very, very light compared to the US. In France, handshakes are very quick and light, and if you're close to the person, you add a kiss on both cheeks. In Russia, it's a very firm handshake. You don't shake hands with the members of the opposite sex in non-business meetings. And in Turkey, you do firm handshakes. No, firm handshakes are considered offensive, but if you shake hands for long periods of time, it's a sign of friendship and affection. In Norway, you shake hands with everyone and always use their first and last name. In China, you greet the oldest person first with a very light grip. You bow and you always make eye contact, and you always pause. In the Philippines, it's a very light grip. You don't bow and you always make eye contact, unlike China. And in South Korea, the oldest person initiates with a very soft grip and you use both hands. And in Thailand, you don't shake hands at all. You perform what's called a Y, which is where you put your hands together and bow slightly. And men and women have different greetings. In Australia, women always offer first, and they don't shake the hands of other women. It's a very firm and fast handshake, and they only use one hand. In Brazil, it's a very firm and long handshake. You kiss women on the cheek, and you always shake hands before and after a meeting. And in Mexico, it's a very long handshake. Men always hug, and women always kiss on the cheek. In the UK, they are very, very big on personal space, just like the US. Kissing on the cheek is usually reserved for family members. And business is always done through a third party, so don't expect to deal directly with the other party involved. They're very formal with their business, and you always have to go through a board of directors to make a decision. And they still believe in the old, what they call prep school system, where money and title get you further in companies, and business meals are always reserved for lunch. If you're invited to someone's house in the UK, you always arrive late, and gifts are not accepted unless you're going to someone's home, and they find it very offensive if you try and mimic their accent. In France, you always use the last name unless you were told otherwise, and they place a heavy emphasis on academic titles such as doctor or professor. You always use monsieur, madame, and mademoiselle. You always sit with your knees together, and you keep a very professional manner. In Russia, they really aren't big on personal space, so backslapping, standing really close, hugging, all of that's going to take place. You have to be persistent if you get the answer that you want, so don't, slack off and wait for them to come to you. And business cards are very important, and they are always treated with respect. And no agreement is binding until a contract is signed, just like in the U.S. Dinners usually take place at the home of whoever's hosting, and they always put excess food on the table, even if they don't have the resources, just so they can show that there's an abundance. And being invited to a daca is an enormous honor. And then after toast in Russia, only the guests that are drinking alcohol can clink their glasses together. And gifts should be picked out based on rank. They find it they appreciate it a lot if you try and learn about their culture and their language before any business meetings. And women are expected to be very feminine and conservative and not wear bright colors. In Turkey, you shake hands with everyone, including the children. Um, a lot of the Turkish population is Muslim, so they avoid eye contact, and you're expected to eat a lot at dinner, but there's not going to be any alcohol served. But they always expect you to be on time, and they always expect modesty when picking out clothes, which goes back to the Muslim culture. And if you're going to someone's house, always bring a gift. In Norway, they are very big on personal space, just like the US and the UK. They don't believe in small talk, they find it very useless. They always expect you to be on time, and they have a very similar management style to the US in the fact that they will always ask their employees for their opinions before making any decisions. Um, Business lunches are strictly for eating lunch, but dinners you can talk about business, personal things, etc. You're expected to dress very conservatively, and like the Turkish people, you always bring a gift when you're invited to someone's home.
Hi, my name is Joshua Washington, and I am Amber's partner, and I'm going to continue the discussion with Asian countries and China for global etiquette. So, in China, there are a few rules that you need to abide by when it comes to global etiquette. Um, some include if you are greeted with applause, please applause back. Do not touch strangers, for they like their own personal space. And if Chinese express disdain, change your request. Hire an interpreter as English is not spoken in meetings. Manipulation tactics are often used, and spouses are not included in business meetings. Also, never refuse a drink. Do not discuss business at dinner unless initiated by the Chinese. The host always pays. Dress modestly, conservatively. Avoid gifts that are black or white in color. And when women will have a hard time earning their place. Okay, continuing with Asian countries, starting with the Philippines. Do not stand with your hands on your hips. Raising of the eyebrows is considered a greeting. Personal relationships are the key to success. Most meals are done in public places. Do not get drunk, meaning when you're in a restaurant with a business partner in the Philippines, please do not drink excessively to the point of you getting drunk. Keep your hands above the table and be soft spoken, or you can be arrested for verbal abuse. In South Korea, bow along with a handshake. No physical contact. Never be late, but you will be kept waiting. Do not discuss business during the first meeting. Dinner meetings are a necessity. Never make your own drink. And please dress formally to all business encounters. In Thailand, introductions are safe for formal meetings. Do not use last names. Business discussions may take more time than you like. Same sex contact, handshakes, backslaps, etc. is common, but not with the opposite sex. And the rules on gifts is more like the US than other Asian countries. So, like with the US, you're able to basically give your business partner anything that you think would be suitable to their needs. Unlike other Asian countries where you have to send a certain thing, and if you send something that goes against that, is a sign of disrespect, and they most likely won't do business with you. Okay, other countries, Australia. Titles are not as important in business. Always arrive early. Always be straightforward. And informal dinners like barbecues are common. Dress is similar to the US. And bring a small gift for you or going to someone's home. Please, no wine. and use standard English when speaking. Other countries, Mexico. Personal space is not an issue. Do not put your hands on your hips, for that's a sign of disrespect. Always be punctual, even if you are kept waiting. Does not apply to social gatherings such as the dinners. Always meet with higher ups first. Both men and women should dress conservatively and in neutral colors, and gifts are not a necessity but are appreciated. So they won't turn you down or think you're disrespectful if you don't bring a gift. In Brazil, your personality plays a heavy part in business. Friendships are more important than written documents. Appearance is heavily scrutinized, hotel and all. Always make appointments. Women should always dress sexy, while men should dress more conservatively. And gifts given in the early stages are seen as a bribe. So if you try to give them a gift before I do any business interactions, they will think that you are trying to bribe them into basically doing what you want them to do for you, instead of gift afterwards as a sign of thanking them for their business transactions. And these are our references. And that concludes our PowerPoint and global etiquette for various parts of the country. Thank you.